Hey everyone, SweetJohnnyCage here, and welcome to SweetJohnnyNews. Today is Friday, August 26th, 2016, and here's what's happening in the world of gaming. Footage was uploaded on Tuesday to the YouTube channel Rare Thief, giving us a glimpse into the long-since-cancelled GoldenEye 007 remake for the Xbox Live Arcade. The video is about 30 minutes long, showcasing the dam, facility, surface, cradle, and Aztec level, as well as a tiny preview of the Egyptian level. What's really interesting about this remake is that it's almost as if somebody put a fresh coat of paint onto GoldenEye 64. The game borrows all the same sound effects and music from the original 1997 Nintendo 64 release, and it just, in watching it, you still feel like you're watching GoldenEye. The models are still clunky looking, it's just a face JPEG slapped onto a character model. The guns are still floating in space with no hand holding them. All the guns have been remade, but it still has a GoldenEye feel and speed. It's quite literally as if they took the engine and just put some new graphics on it. Pretty amazing. It's a real shame we'll never get to see this release unless Nintendo does something themselves, but given that they updated GoldenEye on the Wii a couple years ago, this will probably never see the light of day. Hopefully we'll get an executable that we can run on PC or something. Only time will tell. Jonathan Blow announced to IGN this week that The Witness would be coming to Xbox One on September 13th. This comes about 8 months after the game's initial release back in January of 2016, and this rounds out its console availability to PC, PS4, and Xbox One. He also said that the iOS version of The Witness is still in development, but no release date was given. On Tuesday, it reported that the PS4 Slim had been out in the wild and unboxed, and it seems that UK retailer CEX has actually listed it for sale. Today, I actually learned what CEX is. It seems to be a bit of a second-hand retailer. I don't want to say a pawn shop, but I have seen that comparison thrown around. So it's very likely that somebody sold these units to the store and they're just simply reselling them themselves. It doesn't seem like they came from Sony, so the source of the leak is still unknown. Will Sony say anything at this point with the PlayStation meeting 2 weeks away? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. On Wednesday, the trailer for Dark Souls 3's first DLC, Ashes of Ariandel, was released. This came a day after the leak on the official PlayStation Twitter account, in which the title and date was revealed. Ashes of Ariandel takes place on a brand new snowy map, very similar to the painted world of Ariamis. There were also some very deliberate throwbacks to bosses from the original Dark Souls 3, Nameless King, Osiris, Aldrich, and the Twin Princes. It's possible that this DLC could answer some questions about the royal bloodline of Dark Souls 1, maybe Guinevere went into the painted world, who knows. Also featured were some new miracles, one of which was a retractable sonic boom looking thing and a snow sorcery. We'll have to wait and see what comes out of that. Dark Souls 3 Ashes of Ariandel comes out October 25th. Finally today, in Final Fantasy XV news, director Hajime Tabata told Famitsu that the first half of the game would be in an open-world setting and the second half would be a bit more linear. Now, fans immediately began speculating that this meant a bit of a reverse from Final Fantasy XIII, where the first half of the game is open-world and maybe the second half is a corridor kind of game, but it doesn't seem that way, actually. Upon further inspection, you can tell that Tabata simply meant that while the first half of the game has a bit of an open-ended story, the second half will likely just be a bit more tighter with still a ton more side quests for you to do, and you can still explore the open world, but you're going to be being guided on a path similar to Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy X, where the story itself is just told in a bit more of a linear fashion. I'm praying that Square Enix has learned its lesson from Final Fantasy XIII with the over-the-top hand-holding in corridors, and I'm confident that Tabata does not want to repeat history that way. For this week's Sweet Johnny Minute, I want to talk a bit about GoldenEye. GoldenEye was one of my most played games back in the day on N64, just like anybody. I didn't really have a whole lot of friends that I was playing N64 with, so I really enjoyed the campaign of that game. Beat it on 00 Agent and 007, and really just owned the hell out of that game. I loved playing it. I specifically remember using a Game Shark to reach the island in the dam level, and that's actually shown in the video on Rare Thief's channel that I've linked below. When he gets to that point, he actually takes a sniper rifle and zooms out to the island, and you can see it. And in the Rare Thief video of the updated version, there's actual comparison shots where he's standing in the same exact place in motion, not just like a still image, and showing the differences. Really nice. There wasn't a whole lot of news this week, but I guess it's just a shame that we're never going to get this GoldenEye remake. And when Rare went over to Microsoft from Nintendo, we got Banjo-Kazooie HD, we got Banjo-Tooie HD, And GoldenEye and Conquer were really the two that were missing. It's just a shame we never got them, and we probably never will. Just makes me really excited for Yooka-Laylee, and maybe whatever Playtonic wants to do next. Maybe we can get another shooter like Perfect Dark or something like GoldenEye. Who knows, only time will tell, but it is an exciting time for the guys at Playtonic, and I really wish them the best of luck. Alright guys, that about does it for this episode of Sweet Johnny News. If you want to reach out to me, I'm at SJCage on Twitter. If there's any news stories I may have forgotten or you want me to talk about, hit me up there or down in the YouTube comments and I'll be sure to cover it next time. Just so you know, I will be going on vacation and work. East Coast Throwdown 2016, which is an event that I run with my good friend Long Island Joe, is September 3rd and 4th this year, so I'll be in New York and New Jersey area for about a week. So there will not be any Sweet Johnny News next week. It will resume the following Tuesday, which I guess is the September 6th. PlayStation meeting is the 7th, so we'll cover that on the 9th, Friday, sorry. So if you like the video, be sure to like, favorite, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff if you want to stay up to date. Subscribing to the channel is the absolute best way to do it. Following me on Twitter also helps because, you get the alerts through there whenever they go up. Alright guys, I'm SweetJohnnyCage. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.